It's time for our Stories of Faith segment, what gives us the opportunity here at Grapevine Faith to tell you about some of the amazing people, our families, our faculty, and students. And this week we are in for a real treat, pardon the pun. If you have a student here, we're sitting down with the Director of Food Services, Patrick Bergman, who's responsible for feeding your children every day. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But Patrick, man, everybody around here knows you as Chef Patrick. So if that's okay, I'll refer to you as that. Man, we just appreciate the time today. Thanks for sitting down with us.
Absolutely.
So I try to do all this research on the people that I'm going to sit down with. And I look on social media and online and LinkedIn and Google and all that. And I got to say, man, you kind of fly below the radar. So you're going to have to spill the beans for us.
All right. Sounds great.
We'll dig in that. So let's start with a way of introduction. Let's start with your family. Tell us about the Bergmans.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm married, have 4 kids. I've been married almost 24 years. My wife, Rachel, and I met in Omaha, Nebraska while we were in the Air Force.
Okay.
And we happened to meet in a kitchen. So that's where we met. And we've been together for the last 25 years. And
that's awesome.
Almost married 24 years, but been dating and together for 25. 4 kids. My oldest is Connor. He's at Baylor. He's 20. He's a junior. He is studying to perform music. Music performance is his degree. So it's an interesting choice for a career field, but yeah, she's really passionate about it. It's awesome. And then I have Abby, who is a senior in high school in Red Oak, and she is also in band and pursuing music performance, and we're not quite sure where she's going to go. And then I have Gideon, who is a junior, and he is pursuing kind of sports media, things like that. And Hannah is my youngest. She is 13 and loves volleyball.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you live in Red Oak?
We live in Red Oak.
You commute all the way from Red Oak to Grapevine.
I do.
And that's wow.
47 miles from my door to the parking lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's commitment, man.
Yeah, I love it.
We're glad you make the trek. So I'm a Baylor graduate, so Sick and Bears, and thank you for your service in the Armed Forces. So we appreciate that. So what was your childhood like? I mean, I don't know, is this did you know early on this is something you wanted to pursue as a profession, being a chef and cooking? You spent a lot of time in the kitchen. Tell us kind of what it was like.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was growing up, I can remember from the age of probably 5 or 6, I just had this kind of pull, a yearning to do something in the culinary arts and something in a kitchen. I just wanted to do that. And I lived with my mom. My parents were divorced, so it was just my mom and myself. And she was not the best cook. So at about the age of 10, she kind of let me do whatever I wanted in the kitchen, and it was really awesome. So I just started making my own dinners and breakfasts, and I'd have friends over, and I was always preparing food. Yeah, and I wanted to go to culinary school, but financially, we just couldn't afford it. So the military was the option. And I actually enlisted and went into food services on purpose. Because a lot of people that were in kind of the food service career field in the military, they didn't go there on purpose. Like that was not their plan or their desire when they joined the military. But it was mine, and the training was awesome. Yeah, it was 18 months of kind of learning every single thing. And it's kind of brought me to where I'm at.
Well, and you're having to learn to cook for so many people.
Absolutely.
It's not like you're cooking for a family of 4. I mean, you're cooking for hundreds, if not thousands.
Yes.
So kind of what you're having been able to apply here at Grapevine Faith.
Absolutely.
You had that training in the military. So
absolutely.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Any fun places you got to travel with the military?
Well, we were in Omaha. We moved we were there 4 years. Then we went to Herbert Field in Florida, which was right by Pensacola, which was awesome. Spent a lot of time in the Middle East. My military time was right September 11th and after.
Wow.
So we did a lot of deployments overseas. I worked for a unit called Red Horse, which was a combat engineering unit, and they were self-contained. So they had all their own security, all their own like food service, everything you could think of what you would need to survive. That's the unit that I worked in, and we did everything. We didn't just do food service. Like we did security. We did all the stuff. Yeah, it was a really great experience. But I've been all over the Middle East.
So how much of your travels, either in the United States or even over the Middle East, has influenced and even impacted your culinary choices and like menus and recipes and things, whether it's for the students here at Grapevine Faith or just even at home? Did you have any influence there from those travels?
Yes, absolutely. That's a really great question. So when I was over in the Middle East, a lot of times the U.S. government hires out who's kind of working in kitchens. And a lot of times the individuals that are working in those kitchens, they come from India. A lot of people from India. So I learned like how to enjoy Indian food and how to create that. And that's kind of been one of the things I've been working on. It's been almost 20 years that I've been working on Indian cuisine, but it's because of my experience over there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us how you got to Grapevine Faith. How long have you been here, and what was the catalyst to bring you to Grapevine Faith?
That is a great question. So, in 2017, I've been in food service since 1997, and I've been all over the country. I work for a company called Pioneer College Caterers, and they do contract food service for private colleges and universities, private Christian colleges and universities. Yeah. So I did that for 8 years, and they lost that. So I was like, I need a shift. So I got my master's degree in discipleship, and I was kind of working in a church, but I wasn't kind of working in a church. I was a discipleship pastor at a church in Red Oak. And, I just felt this pull still to the culinary, and the full-time pastoral ministry wasn't really doing it. So I graduated in May of 2019, and I saw a job posting in May of 2019 it was a food service manager at the time, for Grapevine Faith. And I applied, and I interviewed with a gentleman named Scott Milholland and Renee Saul, who's awesome. And that's how I got here the first time. So I was here 3.5 years until the middle of about July of 2022. Okay. And I have 4 kids in college and all those things. And I think I need to make some more money, like just to kind of support that. And I went and I did that for 1.5 years, and it was not what I thought it was. Then you lose going into that corporate environment, and you lose that community and that relationship and that culture that was here at Faith. And an opportunity came about, and Dr. Armstrong gave me a call and asked if I'd like to come back. And I said, absolutely. And I don't plan on leaving.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, my heart is here. I love it. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to serve.
That's awesome. Well, you mentioned a little bit about, having some experience working in the church and so forth, but I asked about your Grapevine Faith journey, but let's talk about your faith journey, how you came to Christ. Did you grow up in a Christian home? When were you introduced to Christ? When did you come to a relationship?
Yeah. How much detail do you want on this?
I mean,
all right. So
sure.
This is a great question. I grew up in it was a strictly Catholic home, with my mom, and it was, she was first generation Irish, and Irish Catholic at that. I don't know how much you know about Irish Catholics, but they are very strict, very devout, very by the book. And so that's how I was raised. And then when I was 15 years old, you have to get confirmed to kind of profess your faith in Catholicism. And I said, this isn't right. I was always reading the Catholic Bible, which is similar. I mean, there's a few extra books added and things like that. But, I was always reading the Catholic Bible, and something was just telling me, like, this isn't quite right. Yeah. And I told my mom that, and she said, you absolutely will get confirmed if you're going to live in this house. So I did get confirmed, and I never really believed the Catholic faith. I always thought that that's not quite right. Does this make sense? Yeah. And so, then right before I graduated high school, she had a massive heart attack and died. And that kind of threw me into a downward spiral. I got into drugs and alcohol and all sorts of other things, and I couldn't function without alcohol. But I still always had this pull inside of me of like, something's missing. And I self-admitted actually the Air Force put me in, but I self-admitted to the Air Force that I cannot function without alcohol. Like, I literally could not live. Like, I couldn't function. Okay. So I had to have it. So they emergency admitted me to a drug and alcohol rehab in Gulf Breeze, Florida in March of 2004. And on March 8th, 2004, I heard a verbal voice say to me verbally say to me, you need me. And it was Jesus Christ saying verbally, I heard it. It was audible. It said, you need me. I hit my knees, and like all the things that I've been carrying, and there's more to kind of my childhood and things I grew up with, but all the things that I've been carrying, the Lord just released it. And he released it in like just tears and tears and tears. And I've been following Jesus ever since then.
Wow.
Has it been perfect? No, but
no.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in good company, my friend.
Yes.
So, wow, that is really, really powerful testimony. That's maybe one of those powerful testimonies I've had interviewing some of the stories of faith. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
I did find a quote on Facebook from you. and you said this was on a Grapevine Faith post. You said food brings people together. And when people come together, they get to share their hearts with one another. They get to laugh. They get to cry. They get to pray for one another, and they get to be who God created them to be. And I think there's so much truth to that. But I think when people sit down to a meal, they just think, hey, this is what I'm going to eat.
Absolutely.
That's a really, really deep and insightful comment there. So, I think it just speaks to the fact that, the change that God can make in people's lives and the opportunity to sit around a table and share food.
Absolutely.
To be able to share about your hearts and kind of where things are. That was a really meaningful quote that I thought you had there.
Oh, awesome. I love that. Yeah. Food to me is, our verse for our team is Psalms 34:8. Taste and see that the Lord is good. And there's more to that, but I believe that God has made us to be creative, and he's made us to experience art in different ways, whether that's food or music or paintings or movie, like all those things.
Mm-hmm.
And food to me is a way to experience God and his creation and how I express my creativity that he has given me. And food brings people together. And that's why it's important to me that food is good. If you come together and the food is not good, it's not a great experience, and it can kind of change the whole dynamics of what's going on relationally and at the table and all those things. So that's my heart, and my desire is to just provide great food where those conversations can take place and that relationship can happen, and that community that God has created us to be in can be fostered around the table.
That's awesome. Well, we have a huge dilemma at our home, family of four, and I've got two kids still at home. I'm figuring out what we're going to do for dinner every night. You, on the other hand, every day have to figure out how to feed hundreds of students and staff, meal. Like, how do you do that? And how do you find a nutritional way to do that so that you're not fixing the same thing every time?
Right.
Like that's going to be a huge challenge. Like I said, we can't do it for a family of four. How do you do it for the school?
It is a huge challenge. I mean, I've been in this industry for 28 years, so I have a lot of experience, but really each place that you're at is unique, and even each year is unique. Like here, it's just unique every year. In the past, we've made paninis for the junior high kids, and they eat them and they love them. This year, we're making them and they're not eating them. So it's just, how do you figure it out? It's a lot of trial and error.
Okay. Last
year, I tried a few new things that didn't quite go over as well as I thought they were. Like meatless Mondays, you can't put that on a menu. It doesn't work. It doesn't work here, and that's okay. Also, I tried to get all fancy with my verbiage, like, cumin infused ground beef, which it's taco meat. And nobody ate it. So it's paying attention to what's going on.
Right.
I run numbers every day to see what's being eaten, what the kids like. And so we just kind of try to take what the kids like and then put that on the menu. But it's a lot of trial and error.
I was going to say.
It's a lot. It is.
Kind of figure it out as you go.
Yep. It's a lot. It is.
And like you said, every year is a little bit different.
It is.
The
every
audience
year
changes their likes,
absolutely.
Their tastes. So
it changes all the time.
Well, I asked this question to everybody to sit down with, and I'm curious because you bring a unique perspective being on staff here, but maybe you don't have in this comparison maybe to another Christian school, but what makes Grapevine Faith unique and special to you?
That's why I'm back. I left, and that's why I'm back, is because of the uniqueness of Grapevine Faith. It's family. It's family.
Yeah.
It's that simple for me. It's family, it's relationship, it's community, it's the oneness and the heart and the desire behind the mission of faith, to develop and graduate authentic Christian leaders. But it's everybody is united to make that happen.
100%.
It is nowhere else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as Patrick said, Grapevine Faith is special for a million different reasons, mostly because of the people like Patrick Bergman. If you or anybody that you know has any more interest in finding out more information about Grapevine Faith, you can visit us at grapevinefaith.com to schedule a visit or get more information. Patrick, we're so blessed that you're here. We're better because you're here. So we're thankful that this is a ministry for you, and you bless us every day. And so we're just thankful that you're here. And thanks for sharing your testimony, man. What a powerful, moving testimony. It's incredible to hear what God's done in your life. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing it.
Absolutely. It was my pleasure.
That's our Director of Food Services, Patrick Bergman. Second half of the Lions football game's coming up next, right here on the Grapevine Faith Sports Network.